Good afternoon, this is Dan Howe, PTI Securities and Futures for your Monday, November 14th daily wrap-up. The equity range overnight was relatively narrow. It's about a 17-point range, which unfortunately is pretty narrow these days. Asia was up, Europe was down overnight. News out of Europe, once again, seems to be the controlling factor. The biggest news item was Italy did in fact sell their 5-year notes, so there were bidders for it. The bad news is they had to pay 6.29% for 5-year notes, which is really high. It was in the 3-something last time we did a 5-year note auction. The other disappointing thing, there was a little bit of verbiage about from the German chancellor saying that they needed some sort of mechanism for voluntary withdrawals from the EU. Obviously not necessarily a real statement for the unity of the economic community. The other thing is that Spain's 10-year notes started to rise today in interest rates. So once again, if we think we contained it, we built the fence around it, we did anything to stop the contagion, that obviously is not true, which is what set the tone for today. During the course of the day, we had no fundamental news, hardly any earnings also. There was 300 companies, but all of which were very minor companies. So we started off low, and we actually went lower during the course of the day. Came off our low a little bit in the last hour, but still a negative day. The SPX closed at 1251, down 12. The Dow closed down 74 to 12079. NASDAQ closed down 21 to 2657. The 10-year note edged up again on a pure risk-off day back to 2.04, so it dropped dropped a little bit. The dollar up 57 to 77.47. Gold was negative today, down $6 at 17.84. Coming up, we have a little bit of news tomorrow with the retail sales and the PPI. We also have the Empire Manufacturing Index tomorrow. Wednesday we got the CPI, and it gets worse at the end of the week because we have a lot of Philly Fed, the jobs numbers, so the end of the week calendar is going to be very strong. Obviously, tomorrow's going to be kind of interesting, probably still be pushed around by Europe, but later in the week, hopefully we'll swing back to being treated to our fundamentals, which obviously have been more positive lately than the rhetoric out of Europe. It's been Dan Howe, PTI Securities and Futures.